Is up, Ohio? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Broulis Beat Report. I am your host, Nick Broulis. Today is Tuesday, May 28th, and the Broulis Beat Report is brought to you, as always, by Cafe 80s. If you enjoy 80s music, you will definitely want to check out a Cafe 80s show. They will actually be in the Canton area this Saturday at Nathan's Patio, so if you're interested, come out and check them out. If you'd like to keep up with where Cafe 80s is going to be playing at, all you got to do is either get on that Facebook of yours and type in Cafe 80s, or go to their actual website at thecafe80s.net. You can always find out where they're showing there. Or you can do what I do and just download that Bands in Town app and just type in the Cafe 80s, and they will send you an email letting you know when they're going to be in a town near you. Whew, well, a lot of stuff has happened recently since the last time I came to you here on the Broulis Beat Report. This one is going to be strictly just about the Indians. And by the way, before I get started on the Indians, you can follow me on Twitter at Broulis Report, B as in boy, Roulis. And I've been doing a lot of tweeting lately, so if you want to find out what I have to say, there you go. Just follow me, find me, do what you got to do, and enjoy. Well, I know that a lot of people out there, they're already talking about the Indians should probably pretty much just trade away any good players that they have at this point and try to get some prospects out of them. I'm not to that point yet, and that may surprise some of you. I'm not going to play the it's too early card. I'm not, because we are pretty much in the month of June. And I recently wrote on neosportsinsiders.com about how they got to start to get it in gear or else the season will be lost, in my opinion. Now, they just recently finished up an 11-game homestand, which I believe is the longest homestand of the season. They first had the Baltimore Orioles come in, and they took 2 out of 3. Well, a lot of teams take most games from the Orioles when they play the Orioles. It's not a big shocker. So the Indians were expected to do at least 3 out of 4. A lot of people said they should have actually swept the Orioles. They took 3 out of 4, and then Oakland, a team that generally struggles when they come here to Cleveland, swept the Indians in a 3-game set. I was actually at the last game of that series. Then Tampa Bay comes into town, and well, the Indians only 1 game out of those. Tampa Bay is a good team this year, so that is to be expected. Now, the Indians are in Boston right now. They lost the first game of that 3-game series. Next, they will head to Chicago for a 4-game series, and then they will have another homestand. They will host the Minnesota Twins, and that's where I'm going to get a little in-depth here on you. They need to take at least 2 of the 3 in that 3-game series against Minnesota if they even want to think about getting back into the AL Central race. I believe they're 10 games back of the Twins right now. Then you have the New York Yankees coming in for 3 games. That's going to be a tough matchup. And I know the Yankees have a lot of injuries, but guess what? You still got to be able to do that. And then they have a 2-game series with the Cincinnati Reds coming in town. That's one of those home and away type series, the Ohio Cup, you get it. Everybody knows at this point, it's not so much the pitching that's hurting the Indians. It's the fact that they probably, at this point in time, and I told a couple people this over the last couple days, the Indians' bats, they probably couldn't hit a softball with a flat bat at this point. That's just being honest. I mean, you have got to be able to score more than 2 and 3 runs a game consistently. You got to have at least 4. You have to. They're not hitting. It's a big problem. And I told this also to some other people, is my biggest issue is, we all know you let go of Brantley, Encarnacion, Alonso. There was a couple other players that they let go. I know a lot of people are still talking about the Yandy Diaz trade, and I get it. Jake Bauers is just stinking up the joint, for the most part. But you didn't bring in anybody to replace these guys. And now we're to the point of, at what point do you start to consider trading a Trevor Bauer, a Corey Kluber, and look for prospects that are either on the verge of being able to come up to produce at the major league level, or they're pretty much ready to produce at the major league level. I know I heard on the radio last week where I think it's Houston has 2 really good pitchers and 2 really good hitters that are ready to come up and try and help a Major League Baseball club right now. Don't know their names off the top of my head, but that's what I heard. So at what point do you start to say, okay, let's see what we can get for Kluber, let's see what we can get for Bauer, so on and so forth, okay? And obviously Kipnis is a name that you would like to throw out there. Here's the big question mark. Do you Indians fans start to seriously consider trading Francisco Lindor this year as opposed to next year? It's something you have to keep in mind. I'm just saying. Because right now, even though Lindor isn't where he is expecting to be from a production standpoint, he's your best player and he's been the most consistent player. So, do you seriously consider thinking about including him in trade talks? I don't know. Again, I am not ready to start this whole fire sale, is what the term that I've been hearing used lately on both radio, television, and in articles. But if this team is still struggling like it is right now, come, dare I say, the end of June, do we start to have those talks? And here's one thing before I end the Broulis Beat Report. Is it just hard for Indians fans to let this go right now because we weren't expecting all this to happen at this point in time? We were expecting them to still win the division this year or at least make the playoffs. Is that the reality of it that's making it so hard for Indians fans? Is that we don't want to go out like this, or we weren't ready to go out like this just right now? Maybe next year would have been more acceptable. I just thought I would throw that out there. That does it for this edition of the Broulis Beat Report. I thank all of you for tuning in, whether it's watching me on your smartphone or listening to me through your radio, however you do that. My name is Nick Broulis, and until next time, have a great one, everybody.